character of the Kgalagadi National Park in the Northern Cape changes from year to year in the summer months. We were fortunate to see it many times with lush green grass after the summer rains, but this particular episode we're about to share with you was taken one year where there was very little grass and almost no game whatsoever. We stayed at the Mata Mata camp for 2 weeks and were blessed with some fantastic sightings of 2 groups of cheetah. The one we're going to call the collar group, the mother had a collar with 5 youngsters, and the other group B, who had a mother and also 5 youngsters. We were so excited to see them the first few times we went out, but then things changed, and this is the story that took place. Over the first few days that we went game viewing, we noticed immediately that there was very little, if no game at all, in the riverbed. 1 or 2 territorial springbok, and the biggest group I think was about 3, and this got us worried because we had a lot of cheetah that had to rely on them as a food source. A couple of days later we found Group B once again, some of the youngsters walking down the riverbed, but we could only see 3 of them and were a little bit worried as to the whereabouts of the mother and the others. The following day we came across Group B with only 3 of her youngsters in attendance, and we also noted that when she got up her walking seemed a little bit laboured, and one of the youngsters stuck so close to her, almost willing her to go and find them some food. The following day we stayed in camp for a few hours to capture on film a few of the birds and rodents that frequented the camp. Then we headed out along the river, not knowing exactly what we were going to see. As we approached the waterhole where the collared group used to hang out, our worst nightmares came true. One of her youngsters had a broken foot and was hobbling towards the waterhole. plaintive chirping of the youngster over the next 2 days brought tears to our eyes, as we had become very attached to these two groups of cheetah. The following day was most probably one of the worst days we've ever had in the Kgalagadi. The Group B had lost their mom, and there were only 3 of them remaining, lying in the shade of a tree, which is where they would remain for the next 3 days. Further along the road, we came across Limpy, right next to the road, almost begging for food. The ways of the wild are very cruel, we know, but when one has been recording, filming and watching them for 2 weeks, it does become heart-rending when you see this happen right next to you. The following day we were up early and down the riverbed. We passed the 3 young Group B youngsters still lying in the shade where we'd left them the previous day. Further down we came across the collared mom with her youngsters pacing up and down the river trying to find some food. And then we sighted Limpy far in the distance. This would be the last time we saw him. The following day we came across the college group at a waterhole, obviously drinking as much as they can to try and get rid of the hunger pains that were now obvious. We were hoping that we would witness a kill while we were still at Mata Mata, but the springbok, the few that were there, remained in the riverbed, and it being so barren and dry, they would spot the cheetah a long way off, so they had no chance of catching them. Our second to last day in the Kgalagadi, we came across the collared mom and her youngsters walking down the riverbed looking for some game that they possibly could run down and catch, but there was just nothing in sight. Eventually, because of the heat of the day, they gave up and lay under the shade of a tree. Our last day in the Kgalagadi, and we just couldn't believe our eyes when we came across the collared mom with all 6 youngsters following her, 3 from each group. We thought, well, this would be the only way that these youngsters would survive. It would be a huge challenge for her because there was very little food, but at least for the time being they had all teamed up together, and it was now all up to her to find them some food. Right at the end we've got some images that May captured on her camera. Hope you enjoy them.